So the order forms are what's next on the list of things to do, and so we've got this thing set up for orders, and we've also got a separate related field for the purchases, which is it's on here, and you can see there's some data in there as well because I've already did a lot of a pre-test on this. So in terms of our database relationships, these have to be separated out. We just can't have an order with like a book, on there as like a book ID linked. Reason being is if I add one order for a customer with a product, it means they can only purchase one product per order. So each time a customer wants to purchase more than one thing, they have to make separate orders. So this is why we use this kind of bridging table setup. So the process is split into two things. So we establish the order of it's a new order, who it is, and kind of when it happened, has been shipped. And then from there, we're going to actually add the purchases to that order. So we say we're adding a purchase, we're making a purchase rather, we're linking it to that order, and that's what we're purchasing. And then I've just got some subtotals and stuff here as well. So in theory, what you see is like order 1 will be for David. So he's order ID 1 for customer David. Purchase 1 ID 1 will be for order 1, which was David, and this could be book ID 26 or whatever the ISBN number is. Then what we'd have is, this is still order 1, this would be purchase ID 2, order 1 with David, book number 57, different ISBN number, so that way you've got one order, two purchases linked to basically one customer's order. So that's how that idea works there. So in order to get these being useful for our form, we want to have a bit more information than just what's in the tables, because the tables are just the raw stuff that the computer needs. So we're going to create a query that contains everything we would want it to do. So first thing, let's start with the orders because it's a little bit more straightforward. So you have an order, and then when we choose the customer ID, we'd like it to display the customer's information when we selected the customer. So I get that. So yes, we want the order ID. You can never add two primary keys in a query. They clash like crazy. So that customer ID. So then their first name, their last name, their address, their suburb, their postcode. Do we need a date of birth or a phone? Or add a phone? Date of birth to start, maybe a little creepy. The order date and whether it's been shipped or not. And this is kind of more for the company side because we want to get a query out to basically list all the stock. Has it been shipped? Yes or no. Once it's been shipped, then we can deduct the stock from how much they ordered, and when that's ticked, when we go to do more updates about deducting stock to say we've packaged it ready to ship it, deduct the stock. Okay, tick that it's been shipped, don't deduct the stock next time we run. But we'll get clear on that when we actually get up to it, which will not be in this video, but that's fine. So that's done. So I'll go close on that. Yes, save, and I will call that order form data. Right, okay. Then we're going to do the same thing for purchases. So this has got a little bit more to it. So create, query design. So I want the purchases, which has the order ID number in there, so I don't need that. But then I need all the book information. So we've got the book. Now the book has publisher and author stuff, so I need the author and the publisher in there. So like I said, a little bit more to it, but not really that much harder. So add that, add this, add the book ID, then the title, then the publisher ID we don't need, but we're not trying to create a new entry here, we just want to display the actual entry. So publisher name, author, first name, last name, year published, number in stock, price we're going to get from here, so quantity. I could put in the description field, but who could be bothered with that big description? But we'll put it in because it might as well, so we'll be nice about it. So I'll put in description, which I'll just flick in front of the financial information because I kind of like to group that together. So number in stock, oops, my bad, quantity, move for me, quantity, and then this subtotal, then I will run that. So I've got a person in there from one of my tests, so that all looks like it's all working. So I'll close that, yes, and I will call this purchases form data. Okay, so then we're just going to go create form wizard. We're going to create using the query of the orders form first, and chuck everything there because we didn't put anything in the query we didn't want, and then chuck everything there. It is going to be a lot, as you can see, but that's all what we need. Then we'll go next. Yep. So this here means when the subtable shows, we want it to show as a data sheet. And we'll call this, we won't call this order form data, we'll call this order and purchases subform, just to let you know it's the subform that's linked to the orders, just in case it's a little bit misleading in some way. Right, and finish. So this is what it means by display as a table. So let's tidy this up firstly. Right, order ID, customer ID, that's fine. Let's get rid of this. Let's create some space down here somewhere. The standard talks about alignment, so that's, you know, some of the stuff I'm kind of subconsciously doing, or I'm consciously doing it, but, you know, without making a big deal about it. I'm kind of just doing it as a default to whenever I do things. That phone there is way too big as a field. I'd imagine suburb, yes, that's the field length I gave it, but I think that's probably a bit big. And their first name, last name, I'm going to shorten down to about there because I think that's relatively generous. I could always change the design of a form if I see that. Now, address needs to be longer, so we'll say there, that's fine. Yep, date, customer ID, that's fine. Postcode, yeah. That's the thing, I can do this. I could put it here, lift this up, and then have that as a little bit separated. Then take that information, space it a bit, chuck on my line tool, which is just nice to, I don't know, just makes things a little bit clearer and separated. And then I can take this, please click on the thank you, and this needs to be significantly longer because it's never going to fit in. All these fields are crammed into here. See all these fields? If I start deleting these fields, they will disappear from my subform, so I can't delete them. But I can change how the widths display for some fields. Yeah. Righto. So the first thing is we'll add the standard button for new. So, you know, record operations, add new record, yes. Text, and I'll say new order. New order. Right. Then we're going to do is our combo box to get our customer information. So I will get the values from another table. I have got information on customers in the customers table, funnily enough. So you always take the ID. Then I'm just going to take last name and first name because generally speaking when searching through a huge list of names you would normally start by surname first. But there's the thing, we might have two John Smiths. So probably what we want to put in there would be a phone number. Is probably the quickest way to identify someone, and maybe a date of birth. Alright, so then we'll sort by last name ascending, then by first name, then by date of birth. Right, not that we need to do that last bit, but you get the idea. Right, yep, that's how it's going to display, that's nice. It says I want to store the primary key in what field? Well, I want to store it in the customer ID field. And then we'll call this customer search. Finish, and we'll just position that over there and shorten that fractionally and push that up a little bit. Right. Yeah. Okay, so is that overlapping? Feels like it's overlapping. It's because it was. Right, so with that, that's all now hunky-dory. The reason, so essentially why we have to enter the information here is if we look in our orders form, we've got this field called customer ID, and how does that get filled? So if we now go to it and give this a little test, and we see we've got this here, I can then go, right, let's add a new order. Let's search up someone. I can do it this way, or by last name. Let's see if anyone starts with an S. No. F, there you go. So Corey Flack, we'll take that. 23, that's entered. This here, we'll just go today. And then we can, the shipped one, really we don't want a tick box, but it's in there for when we're navigating through records. And then I would shorten that field so it's a little bit closer there, but that's okay. So now that I've done that, if I refresh that data, go to here and then refresh it, you can see 23 ordered today. So that's all kind of feeding through nicely. I'll close that and then let's just edit. Yeah, okay, I'll edit this because I have to. I just got to. Yeah, that's fine like that. Alright, and so we want a button down here that's going to open this subform and start getting that form action happening. So we want to go form operations, open form. Next we want to open our subform, and then I'll basically say add books to order, add books, will be fine for the name label. There's a few things we want to do for this, so we'll build this because we want to just make this button a little bit more efficient. So first of all, we probably want to refresh the data that we're currently in. So I'll do this to say refresh the form before we go to another form. Otherwise, if we go to another form and then refresh, we're refreshing the form that we've just gone to. Then I will say, do I need to refresh? No, that. So I'll say go to record, and then I'll say, well, what. So in the form of the subform, I don't want to go to next. I want to go to new. So by default, it will take me straight through to a new entry every time I click on that button. So I'll close that. So yep, it'll save. So now when I do this, it goes straight through to new because it's 2 of 2. So there was actually something in there. So it saves those little steps that make using the forms, yes, save the changes, a little bit easier. I am just going to drag out a new header, and I'll chuck in a labeled, which is because it just does not look right without something up there. It literally doesn't. Right. Right, and I'll say size 24. Okay. Okay, so we've got a few things here we want to sort. The book ID does not need to be that massive at all. And I need to make room for, well, actually I need to make room for everything first of all, because there'll be some buttons at the top for navigation and create new, because once we're in there and we know we want to make 5 purchases under one order, why go in and out of the form all the time just to redo that process? So you just want to be like add, right. Right, so first thing is we need to link the order. So let's make some room for that. When I want to choose this order ID, I have got some information there from the orders table, but that's not enough because it's just a number. I mean, it's the thing, if I'm trying to do this, I don't want to have to mentally keep track of what the last order number was all the time. So in here, I'm going to create a query that's going to put together a package of information that will be good for selection. So we're going to say yes, the orders and the customer information, because ultimately we want to say yes, put the order ID. That's what we want to link. So then I'm going to say, well, I know the customer ID is linked to that order, so I can skip straight past that because the customer ID is not important, it's already there. But I want to see last name, first name, and I'm just going to go with address, suburb, and did I want anything else? A postcode. Oh no, I have here date ordered. Might get rid of postcode, that's a little bit over the top. Right. So now when I run this, we can see this is what the kind of information we'd see in our drop down. And so yeah, when you've got that, that would make sense when you want to choose. Oh yes, because I remember doing one for Corey Flack. Okay, cool. So close this. Do you want to save changes in the design query one? You bet. And we'll call this order link data form. So now when we go in here, design combo box, we're going to link the order. Also get it from another one, get it from a query, order link data. Right, we're going to chuck all that in. We're going to sort by the order ID, descending, so the last order is straight at the top. No other sorts really need to be done, to be fair, because it should be relatively, modern. And it's the thing, we shouldn't be going, having made an order 2 weeks ago, then going, oh, I need to edit that order. It should be, well, if it's 2 weeks ago, they're just making another order. It doesn't matter if Corey Fleck has made 2 separate orders on actually the same day, let alone on different days. This is just giving you a preview, so let's go next. This is the one that we want to take the information from and then chuck it into the order ID, and we'll call this order link. Finish. Right, so I'll just jump that across and put that there, and we'll just shift that all down a little bit. Then we'll take the book ID, and that's another one we need to now select. So in terms of the book, I could go straight to the books table to get information, but you would see this ISBN number, the title, and this publisher author stuff, which is fine, but it's a little bit confusing. So in terms of this stuff, we probably actually, most people when they choose a book or they're looking for a book, the author of the book is actually quite important. So we'll create another little query, create query design, I'll say book, and the author, publishers really, lower down the list than things we need. So yes, there, the title, publisher ID, I'm just going to skip straight over there, author ID, which I'll go to author first name, last name, year published, and then the number in stock and price will be information. Like the number in stock is not super important, but the price one you definitely have to have in there. Yes, okay, people might just be wanting a book and they don't want to factor in price, but besides that, we actually need it for us, for when we wanted to sort out our subtotal and stuff. We need this in our field, right? And the other thing is in our drop down, when we're counting how many columns are in here, we start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember that number for me, please. When you're doing programming, lists or arrays, basically they always start from 0. If we want to think practically, the numeric system starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Computers, when they work in binary, you know, 0101, first one is 0 because the first date is off. Someone emailed me at 10:47. Right, so now that we've got that, we will close. Yes, I want to save it, and I'll call it book search data. Right, now we will go design, put this in here, and we can make this quite long because let's face it, it's going to be quite long. I will go get it from something. I'll get it from a query, book search data, next, chuck everything across, next. What do I want to sort by? By title. And then if I've got two titles the same, which is very interesting, I will sort by last name. So from there, the people who are looking for authors, I'm pretty sure they're going to put 2 and 2 together for that. If they don't, they didn't know who they're after as an author anyway. Because what kind of name on a book's important? Because you've got the title, so then it would be that. Right, ISBN number, and then we will store that in the book ID. Right, and it'll be book search, of course. I won't make this form as pretty looking as I could, but that is fine. I'm just going to take this information and just kind of clump it together with that. And I don't know why these have all shifted across one, so we'll shift them back. Okay, so that's all good. Now, my issue is this price will not fill in. This price is the purchaser's price here, which you can see I've got it in here from somewhere previous, but that's because I did what I'm about to show you. So it's not there is a price of the book, but it's this one here is a separate one that's entered raw. So with this price, to get this to enter, we need to do a few things. Well, yeah. Let's get the properties open. Properties. This needs a name. So under all, if you scroll to the very top, it says name. So we're going to call this combo book search. I'll get there eventually. Right, book search, because that's what it is. And this is the one we want to fill in. So it's already got a name of price, but if I call it text price, then it's a text field that I'm trying to fill in, even though it's currency. But you'll get my gist. Right, so from this here, I want to do an action every time this gets updated, because I want this to update at the same time. So under event, on change, your 3 dots here, we want to go code builder, which is a bit full on, but we'll get there. So what we want to say is, in this form, what do I want to update? I want to update the text price, and then you just double click it to do it. And I want to set the value of whatever's in that text price to equal something from this form, the combo search, the column, so that's the rows, you know, when I was counting, and I said it starts from 0 and goes all the way up. And the number you remember for me was 6, and so it's going to say this field here, I want the value of it to equal what was in column 6 of this drop down combo, which was the price. So we can save, sure save, right, close. So now if we subform, and we're in purchases, I should be able to go to order 1 of 1. I want to make a new purchase, so I'll just kind of manually make a new purchase. I want to link it to Corey, because he's the new one I'm working with. Corey wants to get Catching Fire, and there goes his price. He is actually ordering for himself and a friend, so he's ordering 2. And so there's your subtotal. Those are pre-calculated. This has the data condition that we've preset, that you must have at least 1. See? So those things still stay in there. That's nice. So we'll put that back in as 2. So then if I'm saying, okay, I need to now go back to my order because I'm finished and that's all I wanted to do, we can add in a quick button here for the new record operations. Add new record. Add book. Add book. And then what we're going to do down here is back to order. Chances are we're down the bottom here, and it's kind of like the end of the form thing. So form operation, open form, next, order, next, just open the whole thing, text. We'll call this back to order. We'll just say order. Open order form. Right. We're going to do some updates, of course. So in here we will refresh the data that we're currently in. So check that at the top. Then we will go to control. No, we will go to record. Go to record, and in the form, in order, we will not go to next, we will just go to the last one that's been done, because effectively that should be the last order we're on. So now when I go back to my form, and I was in effectively this one, because I've just done this one for Corey, and I don't like how this is 222, it's just, I'd like the name to sit in there. So I'll update that. So in here, under data, no, under format, this one here, column widths, basically shows you how wide they're all going to sit. So if you've got ones that aren't showing enough information, you can adjust it here. So I'm just going to change this to 0 centimeters. And this is that's essentially the setting they do when they hide when they say don't show the primary key. They just say the column width to 0 centimeters because the data is still sat there. It's not like it's not there, it's just it's not displaying. So there you go. So that's a little bit nicer. At least it's got a last name in there. So now that we're in that last one of order 2 again, we go back to order. Takes us straight back to Mr. Corey Flack, and then you can see in here, purchase 2, order 2 in the book, catching fire. So I can shrink this up, shrink that up, shrink that up. Publisher name, I'm going to shrink this up to like non-existent, and first name, last name, yeah, published. Description, I am going to straight up hide that because that is going to make it super long. So I'll just go to the layout view and close that because we need this to be significantly longer. Okay, and then so description, it's going to hide number in stock, quantity, price is going to shrink up, subtotal, order link, this one we've added recently, so that's why it's chucked on the end. Book search, same with that. Shrink that up. But now we can see a subtotal. Right, so there is that. So let's test this again. So we'll go back into our form. So we'll make a new. Let's make a new order and add 2 books, 2 different books. So new order, customer search. Sure that person. The order date was today. Let's add some books to them. We'll link it to. Right, so this hasn't come through in my drop down. So what have we not done here? This is coming from the query, and the query probably needs to rerun to get this data. So let's go back, because if I was to then go order link data and run that query, it should come through. So rather than doing that, I'm going to test that theory. This is why we test it. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing I do when I'm marking, is basically just use the database. So I'm going to build events, and I'm wanting to basically run a query. Open query. We got run code, run macro, run. Okay. Let's just go check if. Let's just close this. We'll make a new button. We're not going to get rid of this one, but we'll just make a new one. Guys, I just want to think. I'm pretty sure in our button options here it's got form operations, close form, run query. Next, run. What is it? Order form data. Yes. Order link data, sorry, my bad. Run query. MS access query, because it's just a normal query, it's not an update query. Right. Run query. Now the reason why I want to do this is because I wanted to go in the build event to see what it was under. Open query. Order link data, view data sheet. Okay. Let's just see how it runs it. I don't want it to actually do that. That's annoying. So design view. What was this called again? It was called the open query. Open query. Query name. View datasheet view. Design print view. Pivot table. Okay, datasheet view. Data mode edit. No. Just leave it as that. Can I then say close query? Close. No, not close database. Close window. That might close it. Open form. I don't open it again. Oh, how did I get that in twice? Right, save, close. Let's see how. Alright. And I'm in my purchases. And it just didn't go to a new one. It went to the last one. So I'll just go back to this. We're almost there. We're almost there. So it looks like I did actually close that query. There's a little blink there, and I'm assuming that's what that was. Go to record next. We want to be new in there. Right. So in terms of that, then I will go there. So 3 let's order link there. We know Janice, book search, yeah, that one, fine. Okay, and then I'm going to go add another book, yes, you, book search, broken soup, sweet. Okay, back to order. There's those two, quantity, subtotal. You don't get a grand total. That I can't get. I've tried many times, never managed to nut it, so if anyone else out there can, kudos to you. So in terms of that's working, so let's just design view and delete that one. And then let's just try and do one last new order and see if that works all smooth. So customer search, we'll do Carol. And, you know, order is obviously going to be today. Add books to order. That seems to go fine. Carol's not showing up. Right, so that is what I'm trying to sort. build event, go to record, open query. Let's just go, see if I can put a refresh in there, then the close window, close, yes, there. So I'm in order 4, Carol, there. Carol's in there now. That's fantastic. And Carol's going to order, I don't know, something like, oh, I want to hide this field because it's just annoying seeing the ISBN number. So the dust of 100 dogs, that is so random. And she loves that. She's ordering it for a book club of 10 people. 10, right. Back to order. Refresh. Right, I need to get that sussed. Because it should be like that. Okay. Right. Almost there. So I need to go to my purchases subform, and let's just design view. Yes. Yeah, yes, okay, and build event, refresh, go to last, and then refresh data to update the change that we got from here. Close, save, yes, okay. Back to order. Okay, that is looking good. So in that purchases there, this is the one I wanted to edit, it not being an ISBN number. So properties, field width there is 0. Okay, and then we'll go into form there, that looks good. So let's go and go back to order. We're in our last one, so I'm going to go new order, last time. Who's at the bottom of my list out of interest? Well, it's him. Right, so let's just go to Ebby. Order is for tomorrow, why not? Books orders. Ebby's not running. Why is Ebby not running? Okay. Still not in there. That is frustrating as. Order link data. Close. Right. Refresh. Go to your last one. 5. Now 6. Ebby's in there now. Book search. Yep. Back to order. That's all working. It's just that refresh there. Alright, as you may have seen, it's updated to orders 8, and there's a bit of change down here as well. A bit of tinkering, but I got it working. First of all, I had fields showing up here that I didn't want to, and I shrunk them up as you saw before, and then they showed back up again because they didn't like being this small. So the way to get around that was just even in your normal access view, if you right mouse click, you can say hide fields, and then that stops that, but it doesn't actually stop them working in your purchases because it didn't hide anything there. So if I close this and I close that, now what I did in this one here was build event. I didn't worry about the close window thing, so what I did is I refreshed the current data I was in, then I opened the query, I refreshed the query to make sure it updated and ran any new orders I had made. Then I went to then I said go to the purchases form and go to a new record, and then refresh the form to make sure it's got any changes that came through from the query can all be registered. That's how I got there eventually in the end. So if we want to see it in full action, place a new order, place it with some of the a noticeable last name, say right there, add order for them, Betty shows up, order 9, Betty is going to order the chosen one, she'll order one of those, we're going to add another book, we're going to add Betty again, we're going to add, because I am furniture, and that's just a great book, so we're going to get 5 of them, and then we go back to order, I am the chosen one because of furniture, quantity 1 to 5, yep. So there you go. So that is all working in amazing fashion. And then from there, the next step really is to collate these in and actually have a full actual grand total for the order. It will cancel out what the individual books are, but it'll just say, order number this, all the purchases collated together, grand total that. Which then, when we're doing a mail merge, we can send that home, send that as a confirmation email. Thank you for your order. Your grand total came to this. And the other thing that we'd want to do is then actually deduct the stock, so that way she's ordered 5. Number in stock is that. So essentially, what I would like to be able to say is that once she's ordered these 5s, and I've actually then we have collated a store and shipped it, that next time around this number would update. We would see this number have been changed to 69. So there you go. That is the forms in all their glory.